Yes, I'm live now. Welcome once again to another new video. This is Santu SAHOO and you are watching SAHOO's tutorial. And in this YouTube video, I'll be covering some important MCQ questions for the upcoming MPSET exam. I am here again to unearth every aspects of literature, to extract every aspects of literature. It's day 3. In the previous two videos, I had discussed probably 60 important or 6 to 70 important MCQ questions along with explanation. And I recommend you to visit the playlist, that is MPSET English Literature Mock Test, and you will get the videos that I had uploaded recently. So do join and send me the confirmation if everything is okay, if the PPT is visible, and if the audio quality is okay. And if I recommend you to visit the. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm fine. I'm fine. Saddam, how are you? How are you, Saddam? So do join and do not miss this session. Watch this session till the end because it is going to be a very fruitful session. So okay, you will get to know many new things. Okay, you will get to know many new things. So do join and let me know and send me the confirmation if everything is okay. I hope it will be a fantastic session. So okay, it will be a fantastic session. So okay. Now, good evening, everyone. And Saddam, how are you? I'm fine here. I'm fine here. So I will be discussing 35 important MCQ questions for the upcoming MPSET exam. And for your kind information, I want to say you that the syllabus of each Senate as well as every state exam is same. So you can prepare as well. Okay, this is day 3. In the previous two videos I had discussed I had discussed 70 important MCQ questions along with explanations, and I do not want to waste your time. So let's begin the session here. Those who have joined, okay, please send the confirmation. Is everything okay? Okay. And here is the first question on your screen. Okay, here is the first question on your screen. Okay. So let's begin the session here. Let's begin the session here. And the first question is on your screen. Those who are live, you can answer okay in the comment box, and those who have not joined yet, okay, you can watch this session later. It will be in the playlist, that is MPSET English Literature Mock Test. Okay. So here the first question is on your screen. Which of the following poems begin with these opening lines, that is partisans people stitch routes from a flag, gentlemen seized Saint, and opened people praying across the card country noted themselves on this island. Okay, now your options are Sea Bridge Bombay by Adil Jaswala, To India My Native Land by Henry Louis Rivendereggio, by the Waters of Sindh by Aga Sahid Ali, and in the Wazars of Hyderabad, that is Sarojini Naidu. So in these questions you came to know that in the Wazars of Hyderabad was written by Sarojini Naidu. This is a poem. The Wazars of Hyderabad. Then by the Waters of Sindh is actually written by Aga Sahid Ali, and To India My Native Land, this was written by Henry Louis Rivendereggio. And where these lines actually partisans people steep shouts from a flag appear in Sea Bridge. Okay, Sea Bridge Bombay, and it was written by Adil Jaswala. Sea Bridge Bombay, it was written by Adil Jaswala. And here is the explanation you see. That Sea Bridge Bombay is a partisan story as well as a history of Bombay written by Adil Jaswala, and it traces the history of Bombay, and he goes back to the partisan tales and owes trauma and therapy which it disrupted the subcontinent. So Sea Bridge Bombay is actually written by Adil Jaswala, and here the lines which partisans people steep shouts from a flag. Moving on to question number 2 here. Moving ahead to question number 2 here. Which poem has the following line that we can die by it if not live by love? We can die by it if not live by love. So Ulysses Andrea del Sarto, canonization, My Last Duchess. And I am giving a clue. The poem that begins with For God's sake hold your tongue and let me laugh. And in that poem, okay, in that this is the opening line of a poem, and in that poem, okay, this line appears that we can die by it if not live by love. Ulysses Andrea Del Sarto. Yeah. Again, excellent, Subhas. It is canonization. It is canonization. Excellent. So canonization in the poem canonization by, okay, excellent, Subhas. So John Donne's we can't die by each. We can die by each, if not live by love. So that is the line you see. We can die by it, if not live. Yeah, got it, Subhas. Excellent. And you see the famous lines like, okay, we will build in sonnets pretty rooms as well, well wrought on, well wrought on the title, okay, clean brooks, okay, becomes. So these are the lines from this canonizations, okay. Who introduced the phrase, okay? The empire rights back to the center. Edward Said, Salman Rushdie, Bill Ascroft, Chinua Achebe, who introduced the phrase the empire rights back to the center. Edward Said, Salman Rushdie, Bill Ascroft, Chinua Achebe. Do answer in the comment box. Those who are live, please do answer in the comment box. Who introduced the phrase the empire rights back to the center? To the center. Remember this, okay? Empire rights back to the center. Edward Said, Salman Rushdie, Bill Ascroft, Chinua Achebe. What would be the right answer here? So you see, this is actually written by Bill Ascroft. Is it Bill Ascroft? No. So it is actually Salman Rushdie. Okay? It was written by Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie has actually introduced the phrase "the empire rights back to the center." Salman Rushdie, and here is the explanation that the empire rights back theory and practice in post-colonial literature is a 1989 non-fiction book on post-colonialism penned by Bill Ascroft, Gareth Griffiths, and Helen Tiffin. So this is actually a work by the Empire Writes Back, that is by Ascroft, Griffiths, and Helen Tiffin. And this title, that is, it was published in 1889. So this title is referring to which book? The article of Salman Rushdie, that is the Empire Writes Back with a Vengeance. Okay. The title refers to Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie first wrote 1982 article that is called, okay, the Empire Writes Back with a Vengeance. Okay. And here after that in 1989, okay, Ascroft, Gareth Griffiths, and Helen Tiffin had written Empire Writes Back. Theory and practice. So yeah, the Empire Writes Back with a Vengeance is actually the phrase was actually used by, coined by here Salman Rushdie. In addition to being a pun on the filmster words, the Empire Strikes Back, the phrase refers to the ways of post-colonial voices respond to literary canon of the colonial center. How the post-colonial voices are responding to the literary canon of the colonial center. Okay. Which is the sequel of Things Fall Apart? Sequel of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. No longer Addis, Arrow of God, The Man of the People, The Anthills of the Savannah, which is the sequel of Things Fall Apart. No longer Addis, Arrow of God, The Man of the People, The Anthills of the Savannah, which is the sequel of Things Fall Apart. Which is the sequel of Things Fall Apart. What is the right answer here? And you see, it is actually No Longer At Each. Things Fall Apart sequel is actually No Longer At Each. And Things Fall Apart, which followed by a sequel that is No Longer At Each, that came in 1960, originally written as the second part of a larger work along with the Arrow of God. So it is a part of trilogy. The Things Fall Apart comes first, and No Longer At Each, then come Arrow of God. Okay. So this trilogy contains, okay, consists of Things Fall Apart, No Longer At Each, and Arrow of God. Next question. There is a reference of Malvern Hills, okay, in Piers the Plowman, Madhya, the Canterbury Tales, the Christ. Reference of Malvern Hills can be found in which works, okay, in which works. So you know the Malvern means here Piers the Plowman, Piers the Langlands, Piers the Plowman. It's a Middle English poem. It's a Middle English, okay, alliterative, okay, poem, okay, Middle English alliterative poem, and it has actually three texts, okay, A, B, C, and characters like do well, do well, do bet, do bet, do best, okay, appears allegorical character, okay, do well, do bet, do best, and this is an allegorical as well as a satire, as well as a satire. So you see that is Piers the plowman is an allegorical as well as a satire, okay, and the characters like do well, do bad, do best appears. Also the seven deadly sins, okay, seven deadly sins also appear in this work Piers the plowman, and it has divided into passages, passus, passages, that is parts, okay, okay, it is divided into passages, okay. So this is Piers the plowman having three texts A, B, C, three versions, okay. So, and here Piers the plowman is the right answer. The literal meaning. Now, this is the question. Yeah, literal meaning. It is not the literal meaning. It is not the inner meaning here. The literal meaning of hamartia is misdirection, missing the mark, misconception, mistaken identity. What is the literal meaning of hamartia? Misdirection, missing the mark, misconception, mistaken identity. What is the literal meaning of hamartia? Hamartia का literal meaning क्या है? What is the literal meaning of hamartia? Can you see? It is actually missing the mark. Missing the mark is actually the literal meaning of hamartia. Missing the mark. Okay, and missing the mark to err or that is to miss the mark is the literal meaning. Okay, the term hamartia derives from the Greek word which means to miss the mark or to err. This is the literal meaning. It is often associated with the Greek tragedy, although it is also used in Christian theology. The term is often used said to depict the flaws, the defects of a character, and portraying these as the reason of the potential downfall of the character. But the literal meaning of hamartia is actually to miss the mark or to err. So this is the literal meaning. Okay, remember this. Okay. The work Specters of Marx. The work Specters of Marx is written by Raymond Williams, Terry Eagleton, Frederick Jameson, Jacques Derrida. The work Specters of Marx. Specters of Marx. किसने लिखा है? Who has written the work The Specters of Marx? Raymond Williams, Terry Eagleton, Frederick Jameson, Jacques Derrida. So Specters of Marx is actually written by Jacques Derrida. Jacques Derrida has written The Specters of Marx, and here is the explanation. The Specters of Marx, having the full title The State of the Debt, is the work of Mourning and the New International. The 1993 book by the French philosopher Jacques Derrida. So Specters of Marx written by French philosopher Jacques Derrida, and the title, that is The Specters of Marx, is an allusion. Good evening Rao. Yeah, good evening. The title Specters of Marx is actually an allusion to Karl Marx and Friedrich Engel's statement at the beginning of the Communist Manifesto, that is a spectre is haunting Europe. So you see that the Communist Manifesto is actually written in collaboration with Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Okay, and here the Specters of Marx, the article that was written by Jacques Derrida. Here the title is actually alluding the beginning line of the Communist Manifesto that was written in collaboration with Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. And the beginning line of Communist Manifesto is actually, you see, the spectre is haunting Europe. The spectre is haunting Europe. So this is actually here the alluding. Okay, the Specters of Marx alluding this one. Okay. In one of its novels, okay, Thomas Hardy says that happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of pain. Happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of pain. In which novel do this line occur? The Return of the Native, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Jude the Obscure, and Trace of the Diablerolus. What is the right answer here? And the Return. Who is the main protagonist of the novel The Return of the Native? Here, human. Okay. Climb Your Bride. Yeah, Climb Your Bride. Okay. That is the protagonist of Return of the Native. And you see, these lines appear in happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of pain. These lines appear in The Mayor of Casterbridge, or Michael Henchard is the protagonist. Okay, The Mayor of Casterbridge. Mayor of Casterbridge is the right answer. Yeah. Next question. who wrote the novel Kidnap that appeared in 1886. Okay. Joseph Conrad, Rudyard Kipling, R.M. Ballantyne, R.L. Stevenson. And here you see that it is actually Kidnap. Kidnap was written by whom? Kidnap was written by Robert Louis Stevenson. And here David is the protagonist of David is the protagonist. Okay, David is the protagonist of Kidnap. Okay, excellent. You are giving the answer. You are giving the answer of 8. Is it? You are giving the answer of 8. The Mayor of Casterbridge. Okay, yeah, excellent. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now concentrate on question number 9 here. Who wrote the novel Kidnapped? Okay, it is actually David. Okay, sorry, it is that is R.L. Stevenson. R.L. Stevenson has written the novel Kidnapped, where the main protagonist is David. Okay, sorry. Okay. Now, which is a sequel? Which is a sequel to Kidnapped? Okay. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Treasure Island, The Eve Tide, David Balfour. So, which is a sequel to Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. Robert Louis Stevenson has written. Here you see the sequel. Okay, he has been kidnapped. Okay, kidnapped by Robert Louis. Sequel is actually David Balfour. And its other name is actually David Balfour. Is the sequel of Kidnap, and its other name is actually Catriona. Catriona is also known as David Balfour. Is an 1893 novel written by Robert Louis Stevenson as a sequel to his earlier novel Kidnapped. Okay. Kidnapped appeared in 1886. Okay. This is the novel written by Robert Louis Stevenson, and its sequel is actually Catriona. It is also known as David Balfour. And here you see the novel Treasure Island. Yeah, Treasure Island also written by Treasure Island. Yeah, Treasure Island also written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Okay. Then the novel actually continues. Okay, the novel continues the story of the central character in Kidnapped. Okay, that is David Balfour. David Balfour is the central character of Kidnapped. Okay. This is the continuation. Okay. Moving on to question 11 here. Which was the first of the Wessex novels of Hardy? Which was the first of the Wessex novels of Hardy? Far from the Madding Crowd, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Under the Green Tree, The Woodlanders. Which was the first of the Wessex novels of Hardy? Far from the Madding Crowd, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Under the Green Tree, The Woodlanders. What is the first novel of Wessex series by Hardy? Far from the Madding Crowd, The Mayor of Casterbridge. Then you have The Woodlanders. So Woodlanders तो नहीं होगा, Under the Green Wood नहीं होगा. Then The Mayor of Casterbridge, that is also wrong. So the first novel of Wessex series, okay, Wessex novel series actually Far from the Madding Crowd. Where Gabriel Oak, but no, it is actually Far from the Madding Crowd. Where Gabriel Oak, okay, बात से बात appears, okay, ठीक है. The first of the Wessex novels of Hardy is actually Far from the Madding Crowd, where Gabriel Oak is the male protagonist, okay, the male protagonist. And here you see in an 1895 preface to the 1874 novel Far from the Madding Crowd, it described Wessex as a merely realistic dream country. Okay, Wessex as a merely realistic dream country. Okay, so Far from the Madding Crowd is the first Wessex novel. In which Victorian novel the criminals are sent to where to the hospital and the diseased are imprisoned. Okay. Options are Turn of the Screw, Erwin, New Graf Streets, Almira's Folly. In which Victorian novel we find that the criminals are sent to the hospital, whereas the diseased are imprisoned. The diseased people are imprisoned. Okay. In which novel, in which work do we find? So these are all Victorian novels. In which novel do we find? Okay. Do answer in the comment box. Options are Turn of the Screw, then Erwin, New Graf Street, then Almayer's Folly. You see, so what is the answer here? It is actually Erwin, Samuel Butler's. Okay. Samuel Butler's has a novelist. There are two Butler. Okay. Samuel Butler. Here the Victorian novelist Samuel Butler, and he has been Erwin. Okay. One is Oedipus, another one. Here it is Samuel Butler, the Victorian novelist, and it is Erwin. Okay. And here is the explanation. You see, Erwin has also declared deceased. Okay, a crime for which the sick are imprisoned, and crime is considered a disease for which criminals are sent to the hospital. As the unnamed narrator further examines the institution of Erwin, his illusions of utopia and eternal progress are stripped away. So it is actually Samuel Butler's Erwin, the Victorian novel. The setting of the Brendan Behan's play. The setting of the Brendan Behan's play, The Quare Fellow, is visa office, prison, parlor, courthouse. What is the setting of Brendan? What is the setting of Brendan Behan's play, The Quare Fellow? The Quare Fellow. What is the setting of Brendan Behan's play? That is The Quare Fellow. Visa office, prison, parlor, courthouse. And it is actually prison. It is actually prison. Prison is the right answer. And here is the explanation. The Quare Fellow is Brendan Behan's first play. This is the debut play, and it was first produced in 1954. The title is taken from a Hiberno-English pronunciation of Quare. Here, the play is set in Mountio Prison, Dublin. Okay, so this is a prison. Okay, that is in Dublin. That is the Quare Fellow by Brendan Behan. The anti-hero of the play is the Quare Fellow. He is never seen or heard. He is the anti-hero. The titular character Quare, the Quare Fellow, is actually the anti-hero. He is never seen. He is never heard. He functions as the play's central conceit. Okay, in this play, he is a man condemned to die on the following day for killing his brother, and it revolts his fellow inmates far less than that of the other fellow. A very camp, almost wild and homosexual man. Actually, you see, and in this work, okay, that is the play's grimly realistic portrait of a prison life in Ireland in the 1950s, and a reminder of the days in which homosexuality was illegal. So, in this play, we find that okay, it is reminding us that in the 1950s, okay, homosexuality was illegal. The play is based on okay, Brendan Behan's own prison experiences and highlights the perceived barbarity of capital punishment. Then in use in Ireland, okay, the condition of that kind of that homosexuality was illegal. Okay, the punishment that was given to them. The play also attacks okay, the false piety in attitudes to sex, politics, and religion. Okay. Next question. Thomas Campbell. Thomas Campbell. It is Jartut of Yoming. Thomas Campbell's okay, Jartut of Yoming is a pastoral poem, a narrative poem, romantic epic satire. Thomas Campbell's Jartut of Yoming is a pastoral poem, narrative poem, romantic epic satire. So Thomas Campbell's Jartut of Yoming is actually a romantic epic. It's a romantic epic. And here is the explanation you see. That Jartut of Yoming, a Pennsylvanian tale, is a romantic epic in Spenserian stanza having 9 lines, composed by Scottish poet Thomas Campbell. And the setting of the poem is the Yoming Valley of Pennsylvania, the massacre that occurred there on July 3rd, 1778. On that day, more than 300 American revolutionaries died at the hands of loyalists and their allies. At the time, it was widely believed that the attack was led by Joseph Brand. The poem, Brand is described as the monster brand. So Joseph Brand in the poem is described as monster brand because of the atrocities committed, although it was later determined that Brand had not actually been present. Okay. The poem has been criticized for this reason, for other historical inaccuracies. Okay. For historical inaccuracies, this poem, that is Jarted of Wyoming, was criticized. The concluding line of a Spenserian stanza is called Alexandrine Climactic Caesura Tarzare. Now tell me, the concluding line of Spenserian stanza is called Alexandrine Climatic Caesura Tarzarima. What is the concluding line of Spenserian stanza? You answer. What is the concluding line of Spenserian stanza? I'll be covering 35 important MCQ questions for the upcoming MPSET exam, and I am here running on 15. Okay. So the concluding line of Spenserian stanza is called Alexandrine. Excellent. It is Alexandrine. Okay. It is Alexandrine line. Excellent. So here A is the right answer. Excellent, Rob. And in which of the following works does Claude Lévi-Strauss discusses the concept of bricolage? The concept of bricolage was given in which work by Claude Lévi-Strauss? The elementary structures of kinship, narrative discourse, the savage mind, or mythologies. The elementary structures of kinship, narrative discourse, savage mind, or mythologies. In which of the following works does Lévi-Strauss discusses the concepts of bricolage? Excellent. Excellent. Excellent, Rob. It is the savage mind. Okay. It is in the savage mind. Okay. Claude Lévi-Strauss has discussed the concept of bricolage. Okay. It is to combine new things with the thing which are at hand. In the savage mind, 1962, the French anthropologist Claude Lévi-Strauss used the word bricolage. It is to describe the characteristic patterns of mythological thought. Bricolage is the skill of using whatever is at hand and recombining them to create something new. So this is the bricolage or collage. Lévi-Strauss compares the working of the bricoler and the engineer. So he is comparing the working of the bricoler with the engineer. The bricoler, who is the savage mind, works with his hands in devious ways, puts pre-existing things together. Why? Yes. These are all questions will be helpful even for NET. The syllabus is same. NET set syllabus is same. Okay. NET set syllabus is same. It will be helpful. Definitely. Don't worry. The bricoler, who is the savage mind, works with his hands in devious ways, put pre-existing things together in new ways. And if you study, okay, it will as we study daily like this, okay, it will definitely help you. Okay. Makes do with whatever is had. What Lévi-Strauss points out here is that signs already in existence are used for purposes that they are originally not meant for. Now, okay, actually I will be doing, okay, theory class, okay. Wait a minute, let me, okay, complete this 10 to 15, okay, MCQ series for the upcoming MPSET. Then I will be starting theory class, okay. That is more important, okay. These are all actually MCQ based class, okay, but I will be starting with the theory class. After 10 days, okay, probably. So I have to make some videos, okay, on MPSET, and I will be starting. The concept of polyglossia. The concept of polyglossia was explained by Mikhail Bakhtin, Ferdinand de Saussure, Roman Jakobson, Jacques Derrida. And the polyglossia was actually discussed, okay, in dialogic imagination. In dialogic imagination. Dialogic imagination. So the concept of polyglossia, polyphony, yeah, polyglossia, polyphony in problems in Dostoevsky's art, carving relax. These are all concepts given by Mikhail Bakhtin. So polyglossia is actually explained by Mikhail Bakhtin, and the name of the book is Dialogic Imagination. Dialogic Imagination. So in this book actually he has given the concept of like polyglossia, and here is the explanation. You see, in his work The Dialogic Imagination, Mikhail Bakhtin introduced many important terms related to nature and development of novels. And here Bakhtin described polyglossia as how simultaneous presence of two or more national languages interacting within a single cultural system. Okay. What is polyglossia? That is simultaneous presence of two or more national languages interacting within a single cultural system is known as polyglossia. That concept was given by Mikhail Bakhtin in Dialogic Imagination. Mikhail Bakhtin has also given the concepts of polyphony in his work Problems of Dostoevsky's Art. Okay, Problems of Dostoevsky's Art. In that book, he has given the concept of polyphony. Okay, sure. Next question, sir. Who coined the term historiographic metafiction? Historiographic metafiction. Linda Hutchinson, Michel Foucault, Roland Barthes, Jacques Derrida. Who coined the term historiographic metafiction? And actually, she was referring to a Canadian novelist. Okay, she was referring to a Canadian novelist's work. Okay, when she was coining this term, okay. Linda Hutchinson, then Michel Foucault, Roland Barthes, Jacques Derrida. What would be the right answer here? Who coined the term historiographic metafiction? Historiographic metafiction. Yeah, Linda. Excellent. It is Linda. Linda Hutchinson actually has coined the term historiographic metafiction, and she was referring the works of Margaret Atwood. Okay, she was referring. Okay, when she was coining this term, she was referring the novels of the Canadian author Margaret Atwood. So it is Linda Hutchinson. And here is the next question. Question number 18 is on the screen. Concepts of Ubermensch or Superman is related to Martin Heidegger, Gadamer, Theodor Adorno, and Friedrich Nietzsche. The concepts of Ubermensch or Superman is related to whom? Heidegger, Gadamer, Theodor Adorno, and Nietzsche. And I am giving a clue that he has written the book Thus Spake Zarathustra, and he has given the phrase that is God is dead. God is dead. God is dead. No answer. No answer. Thus spake Zarathustra. God is dead. Here the clues. Okay. The concepts of Ubermensch or Superman is related to whom? It is not Heidegger. It is not Gadamer. It is not Theodor Adorno. It is Nietzsche, who says that God is dead in Thus Spake Zarathustra. And in this book, Thus Spake Zarathustra, Nietzsche has given the concepts of Ubermensch or Superman. And here is the explanation. You see that Ubermensch is the concept, the philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche, and it is in his 1883 book Thus Spake Zarathustra. And also in this book actually he had also given the concepts of that God is dead. God is dead. So in this same book he has given the concepts of Ubermensch, that is Superman. Okay. Thus Spake Zarathustra. Nietzsche has his character Zarathustra posit the Superman as a goal for humanity to set for itself. The Ubermensch represents a shift from otherworldly Christian values and manifests the grounded human ideal. And you see, it was Alexander Till, okay, made the first English translation of Thus Spoke Zarathustra. So who translated the first? What was the first translation of, or who made the first translation? It is actually Alexander Till made the first English translation of Thus Spake Zarathustra, rendering governments as beyond man. But in 1909, Thomas Common translated it as Superman, following the terminology of George Bernard Shaw's man and Superman. But government's first concept was given by thus Friedrich Nietzsche in his work Das spoke Zarathustra, where he had also given the concepts like God is dead. The passage beginning with all the world is a stage is spoken by which character in As You Like It? The passage beginning all the world is a stage is spoken by which of the following characters in the play As You Like It? Do answer in the comment box. Question number 19 is on your screen. That is easy one. That is easy one. Do answer in the comment box. These questions are even beneficial for EDC NET exam, even for any PG entrance exam, even for any PG entrance exam. The passage beginning all the world is state is spoken by dash which character? Was it Frederick? Was it Touchstone? Was it Orlando? I am Frederick नहीं है, Orlando नहीं है. Now tell me Touchstone and Jackson. Who has said this line? The passage beginning. No, it is not Orlando. It is not Orlando. Then it is. It is Jax. Okay. It is Jax. It is Jack who has actually given this. Okay. All the world is a stage. Okay. It is Jack. He is the answer. Okay. In As You Like It. And all the world is stage is the phrase. It begins a monologue from William Shakespeare's pastoral comedy As You Like It, spoken by the melancholy Jax. Okay. In Act 2, Scene 7. Act 2, Scene 7. In Act 2, Scene 7 पे appear all the world is stage. That is a phrase. Begins with the monologue from William Shakespeare's pastoral comedy As You Like It. The Jax. Okay. The Jax, the melancholy Jax. Okay. Who is the author of the fictional work? The fictional work called The Awakening, and it is considered as one of the earliest American novels that focuses on women's issues without condensation. Kate Chopin, Flannery O'Connor, Marilyn Summers Robinson, Gwendolyn Brooks. Okay. The author of The Awakening. The Awakening. The name of the book is The Awakening, and it is considered as one of the earliest American novels. One of the earliest American novels. The Awakening. Kate Chopin, Flannery O'Connor, Marilyn Summers Robinson, and Gwendolyn Brooks. What is the right answer again? The Awakening. Awakening is actually a work by Kate Chopin. A work by Kate Chopin. Okay? Kate Chopin has written the work Awakening, and Awakening is a novel by Kate Chopin, first published in 1899, set in New Orleans and on the Louisiana Gulf Coast at the end of the 19th century. The plot centers on Edna Pontier and struggles between her increasingly unorthodox views on femininity and motherhood with the prevailing social attitudes of the turn of the century American South. So the Awakening is actually a novel by Kate Chopin. It was published in the year 1899. The themes of romance and day in the Awakening help Chopin's feminist intent of eliminating the restrictive and oppressive roles of women in the Victorian society. A literary phenomenon called the angry young man occurred in 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. The literary phenomenon called an angry young man occurred in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. That is an easy question. You know, most of the questions I have taken from MPSET. Okay, the previous year questions from MPSET, and these are also beneficial even for any exam, any SET exam, any state SET exam, and even for EDC NET exam, because you know the syllabus is same. Literary phenomena called the angry young man occurred in 1950s. So this is 50s, okay, 50s 1950s is the right answer. The playwrights and some novelists. The Angry Young Men were a group of mostly working and middle class British playwrights and novelists. Working and middle class playwrights and novelists who became prominent in the 1950s, and the main proponent was John Osford and Kingsley Amis. The other popular figures include John Brain, Alan Sillitoe, John Wayne, and the phrase you see was originally coined by the Royal Court Theatre's press official in order to promote Osborne's 1950 play Look Back in Anger. It is a Kitchen drama, and Look Back in Anger was performed first in 1956. Look Back in Anger by John Osborne for the first time had performed in 1956, and it is also known as a Kitchen drama. And the phrase that is the Angry Young Man was originally coined by the Royal Court Theatre's press official in order to promote Osborne's 1956 play Look Back in Anger. And you see, it is thought to be derived from the autobiography of Leslie Ford, founder of the Woodcraft Folk, whose Angry Young Man was published in 1951. So they are actually a group of 1950s playwrights as well as novelists, and they are working in the middle class British playwrights and novelists, of 1950s. The prose work, that is the Marriage of Heaven and Hell, is written by which of the following? William Blake, William Wordsworth, Walter Scott, Charles Lamb. You should all answer these questions, You should all answer these questions, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. You all know these questions, You all know this answer of these questions. The Marriage of Heaven and Hell is written by the following work. The prose work. It's a prose work. The prose work. William Blake, William Wordsworth, Walter Scott, Charles Lamb. Who wrote the prose work, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell? So it is actually William Blake. William Blake has written the prose work, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Next question. Who is the author of the book, The Theatre of the Absurd? Where he has coined the term Theatre of the Absurd. The name of the book is The Theatre of the Absurd, and in that book he has coined the term The Theatre of the Absurd. Albert Camus, French Kafka, Henry Gibson, Martin Nestle. So what is the right answer here? No, it is The Marriage of Heaven and Hell is actually by William Blake. William Blake has written The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Who is the author of The Theatre of the Absurd? The book where he has coined the phrase The Theatre of the Absurd. It's excellent, Rao. It is Martin Nestle. Martin Nestle has written the book The Theatre of the Absurd, and in that book actually Martin Nestle has coined the term Theatre of the Absurd. The Myth of Sisyphus written by Albert Camus. French Kafka has written Metamorphosis, where Gregor Samsa is the main protagonist of Metamorphosis. Ugiwa Thango changed the medium of his writing from English. He has actually renouncing the English language, and now he is moving to Swahili, Yoruba, Xhosa, Gikwi. Ugiwa Thango changed the medium of his writing from English to which? Swahili, Yoruba, Xhosa, Gikwi. You see that Ugiwa Thango is actually here. He is actually renouncing English. He does not want to write in English now. He is now moving from English, going from English to another dialect of his mother tongue. Now he is moving to his mother tongue. It is Swahili, Yoruba, Xhosa, or Gikwi. So it is actually Gikwi. It is Gikwi language. Ugiwa Thango is actually renouncing English and trying to again write in his mother tongue, that is Gikwi language. So here 4 is the answer. Wordsworth, the Borderers. This is a lesser known work. This is a lesser known work by Wordsworth. Wordsworth, The Borderers, comes under the category of satire, epic poem, tragedy, ode. So The Borderers, this is a lesser known work by William Wordsworth. Wordsworth, The Borderers comes under the category of which genre? Satire, epic poem, tragedy, and ode. What type of work is it? What type of work the borderers is? The borderers is actually a satire? No. Epic poem? No. Tragedy or ode? Ode भी नहीं है. It is actually a tragedy. The borderers is actually a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And the borderers tragedy in 5 acts. So they are the borderers by William Wordsworth actually first major work, and in the course of its composition, he moved towards later blank verse style and the themes that dominate the ruined cottage and the peddler. So here, the Borders is actually a tragedy in 5 acts by William Wordsworth. This is a lesson on work. This kind of questions is asked. This kind of question asked in UG Senate exam as well as even MPSET or any state set exam. In which poem do the following lines occur? That is, behold her bosom and have her sight, a sight to dream of, not to tell. In which poem? In which poem, you see? In which poem do the following lines occur? Behold her bosom and have her sight, a sight to dream of, not to tell. It's Eve of St. Agnes, it's Lamia, Coleridge Christabel, Wordsworth's Lucy Gray. In which poem do we find these descriptions of a lady? Behold her bosom and have her sight, a sight to dream of, not to tell. It is actually Christabel. It is Coleridge Christabel. Christabel's here C is the right answer. And you see, Christabel is a long narrative poem by Samuel Taylor Coleridge having 2 parts. It has 2 parts. The first part was reputedly written in 1797 and the second was in 1800. Coleridge planned 3 additional parts, but these were never completed. So Christabel is actually an incomplete work, an unfinished work. This is an incomplete work. Okay, Christabel. Only 2 parts were actually completed. 2 parts are completed by him. He also planned to add 3 parts, but these were never completed. The Christabel, a long narrative ballad. It's a ballad, okay, by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Who is the writer of the novel? To have or have not? To have or have not? This is again a lesson work. These kinds of questions are asked in UG Senate exam as well as in Senate exam. Who is the writer of the novel? To have and have not? Ernest Hemingway, Arthur Miller, John Steinbeck, William Tennessee. Who wrote? To have and have not. And here you see John Mulligan has taken the title of his novel Man Alone from this novel. It is actually Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway, lesser known work, To Have and Have Not is a novel written by Ernest Hemingway, and from this novel John Mulligan has taken the title, okay, for his novel. And here is the explanation. You see that John Mulligan took the title for his novel Man Alone, that was published in the year 1939 from a line in Ernest Hemingway's To Have and Have Not. So Ernest Hemingway has written the novel called To Have and Have Not, and from this novels, okay, there is a line, okay, and from that line, okay, John Mulligan has taken the title for his novel Man Alone. It was published in the year 1939. Got it? Chalo. Who is the author of the novel The Grapes of Wrath? The Grapes of Wrath. John Steinbeck, William Faulkner, Ernest Hemingway, Carey Hume. Don't miss these sessions, okay? I'll be covering, okay, every aspect of literature in this MCQ series, okay? I'll be covering all these aspects, okay? So here 28 question number 28 is on your screen. Who is the author of the novel The Grapes of Wrath? John Steinbeck, William Faulkner, Hemingway, Carey Hume. So The Grapes of Wrath is actually written by the Nobel laureate John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck has written, okay, The Grapes of Wrath. Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. And here is the explanation that the American realist novel by John Steinbeck, and it is published in 1939. The book won the National Book Award. You see, and it is also cited, okay, prominently when Steinbeck was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1962. So it was John Steinbeck got the Nobel Prize in which year? It was 1962. John Steinbeck got the Nobel Prize, and when he was awarded this prestigious award, it is the Nobel Prize in 1968. This book was also cited. Okay, it was cited prominently when Steinbeck was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1962. It is said during the Great Depression, the novel focuses on the jotes of poor family of tenant farmers driven from their Oklahoma home by drought, economic hardships, agricultural industry change, and bank foreclosures, forcing tenant farmers out of work. And due to their nearly hopeless situation, and in the parts because they are trapped in the dust bowl, the jotes set out of California along with the thousands of other Okies. They were seeking jobs, land, dignity, and future. This is one of the finest novel, okay, by John Steinbeck. Okay, you know, John Steinbeck was awarded with the prestigious award, the Nobel Prize in 1962, and this novel was cited when he was given the prestigious of the prize, okay, in 1962. So these are all important questions, okay, for any state exam and even for UGC NET exam, okay. So do not miss these sessions, okay. I'll be covering, okay, every literature, okay. I'll try my best to help you out all here. So do join and watch this session till the end. Whose names are unknown. This is written in 1930s, okay, but not published in 2004, okay. Who is the author of the novel, okay? The novel is actually Whose Names Are Unknown. Whose names are unknown, and it was published, okay. It was written in 1930s, but not published until 2004, okay. So that is why it is a posthumous collection, okay. Who is the author of the novel? John Steinbeck, William Faulkner, Sonora Babb, Eleanor Catton. Who wrote Whose Names Are Unknown? So here it is Sonora Babb. Sonora Babb has written the work Whose Names Are Unknown, and it was published, okay. It is not published until 2004, though it was written in 1930s. So it is Whose Names Are Unknown by Sonora Babb. And you see, Whose Names Are Unknown is an American novel by Sonora Babb, and it was written in 1930s but not published until 2004. And it centers on members of High Plains farm family during the Great Depression as they endure the poverty inflicted by the drought and the dust bowl. They ultimately flee to California in hopes of building a better life, but encounter a new set of hardships there as well. So these Sonora Babbs, whose names are unknown. Which of the following poets describes his mistress as, no, she is not Anglo-Indian, she is an Indian English, the language that I use, okay. So the poet is actually saying that, okay, describing his mistress as, no, she is not Anglo-Indian, she is Indian English. So the language that I use, that means that your options are Nijin Musical, Keki and Daruvala, Eke Ramanujan, R. Parthasarathy. So it is actually Keki and Daruvala. Keki and Daruvala is saying that, okay, she is Indian English, the language that I use. That means that Keki and Daruvala uses, okay, the Indian English, the language that he uses, okay. It's Keki and Daruvala. It's the right option here. Sorry. The mother figures in Charles Dickens, okay, Great Expectations. This is actually Bildungsroman, coming of a story or Bildungsroman story of Peep, the Philip Peep. Philip Peep's full name is Philip Peep, and Peep is the nickname here. So here the two mother figures in Dickens' Great Expectations. Okay, you see that, okay. Here and Peep was actually an orphan. So he was raised up by you see Mrs. Joe and Mr. Joe. So here the two mother figures in Dickens' Great Expectations are Estella. Estella is not a mother figure; it's a lover. Miss Havisham, Mrs. Joe, and Georgiana. So it is Miss Havisham and Mrs. Joe, the mother figures of Dickens' Great Expectations. Okay, of Philip Peep or Peep is actually Miss Havisham and Mrs. Joe. So 2 and 3 are correct. Actually, A is the right answer. So, who translated Vijay Tendulkar's song Santa Boat Chalu Hai into English as silence the code is in session. Who had translated, okay, this Karnataka, yeah, शांत that is Tendulkar's, okay, शांत कोड चालू है into English actually. Priya Agarkar, Badal Sarkar, Mohan Rakesh, B.A. Tendulkar. So it is actually Priya Agarkar. Priya Agarkar has translated it into English. It is the, as silence the code is in session. Okay. So A is the answer. And here you see the code is in session. Originally, शांत कोड चालू है is a primal work of British literary career. The play has been translated into English by Priya Agarkar, seemingly in an accurate manner, and is the part of the selections of B.A. Tendulkar Five Plays Oxford. Next, okay. Who is the author of the James Bond, a literary franchise comprising a series of novels and short stories, first published in 1953? James Bond किसने लिखा है? Aaron P. Skater, Irving Waddell, Antonin Artaud, Ian Fleming. Who is the author of the James Bond? Which is a literary franchise comprising a series of novels and short stories first published in 1953. So it is Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming has written James Bond script. So D is the right answer. The character you see first appeared, the James Bond appeared, the character of James Bond first appeared in his 1953 novel Casino Royale. The books are set in a contemporary period during Fleming's, okay, lifetime from 1951 to 1964. Okay. Next questions. The character Gudrun in These Lawrence of Women in Law is based on which writer? Virginia Woolf, Catherine Mansfield, Elizabeth Gaskell, Sylvia Plath. The character Gudrun in These Lawrence of Women in Law is based on which writer? Virginia Woolf, Catherine Mansfield, Elizabeth Gaskell, Sylvia Plath. What is the answer here? Like a good run is actually based on Catherine Mansfield. The good run in These Lawrence Women in Law is based on Catherine Mansfield. Catherine Mansfield is the right answer. Here you see Ursula's character draws on Lawrence's, okay, wife of Frida, and good runs on Catherine Mansfield. Okay, so you see in Women in Law the character Ursula, the character is draws on Lawrence's wife Frida, whereas good run on Catherine's Mansfield. Okay, while Rupert Berkins has elements of Lawrence himself. Okay, and Gerald Creech actually is a party based on Mansfield's husband John Middleton Murray. So Gerald Creech is a party based on Mansfield's husband John Middleton Murray. Good run is Catherine Mills. So, to pick up the session, so today's last question is on your screen. The last question is on your screen. Here is the last question. Okay. This last question is question 35 here. Which of the following begins with these words? Good morning to the day next to my goal. Open the shrine that I may see my sin. The poetess Cynthia's rebels Volpone. Everyone knows this answer here. It is the Volpone. Volpone begins with lines. Okay, good morning to the day next to my goal. Open the shrine that I may see my sin. This is Volpone by Ben Jones. So these were all 35 questions. Okay, I had discussed along with explanation. I am requesting all of you to visit the playlist, that is MPSET English Literature Mock Test, and in that playlist I will upload, okay, I will add all the videos, okay, in that playlist. Okay, so please visit the playlist and watch all those videos, and those videos will definitely help you to crack MPSET exam. It will definitely help you to crack the MPSET exam. And the end, okay, this is my humble request to all of you. Please subscribe the channel, make sure to subscribe the channel and tap the bell icon to get more notifications, and do not forget to hit the like button as well and share with your friends. Okay, this is my humble request. Please make sure to subscribe the channel. Okay, thank you once again for watching the video. Thank you once again for watching the video, and good night everyone, those who are live here. Thank you and see you tomorrow again. Okay, good night Ram. Good night. Thank you. I'll be ending here. I'm pushing up here. Let's